Hey guys, ET Insider from Sunbros, and today I'm really excited to be bringing you guys another hero quick look video. We're going to be talking about Skud. Skud is a class warrior tank role mobility control. As you guys can see in the bottom left, really low ability damage, but almost maxed out constitution and about average difficulty and attack damage. Skud's passive is Anabolic Rage. Every 10 seconds, Skud's normal attacks get additional damage and restore HP and mana. Each normal attack reduces the cooldown of this by 1 second. Skud's first ability is Furious Charge. Skud charges in the target direction, dealing a bunch of damage to enemies in his path, knocking them into the air. Skud also gains armor. Skud's second ability is Power Glove. Skud increases attack speed and movement speed for 5 seconds, and the next normal attack deals an additional damage to enemies and reduces their movement speed. And Skud's ultimate is Wild Beast Fury. Skud charges for a brief period, then spins and hits all nearby enemies with his fist, dealing a bunch of physical damage, knocking them back and stunning them for 1 second. It also deals physical damage equal to 15% of the enemy's current HP and resets the cooldown on Furious Charge. Alright, next we're going to be moving on to Skud's pros and cons, starting with his pros, which are strengths, things you're going to want to take advantage of if you're playing as Skud, and things you're going to want to avoid if you're playing against him. Skud's first pro is his great crowd control. Whether we're talking about his knockup from his first ability Furious Charge, or we're discussing the slow from his second ability Power Glove, and of course his ultimate Wild Beast Fury, which is a knockup and a stun, even amongst warriors, Skud's crowd control is actually very good, and dare I say wildly underrated. Skud's second pro is that he has a really solid balance of damage and tankiness. That's one of the main characteristics that I look for in a really good off-tank warrior type of a hero, is the ability to both do a good amount of damage and take a good amount of damage. Because the main job of an off-tank warrior is to really be in the thick of things, using that great crowd control, causing big time disruption and distractions in order to allow the damage dealers on the team to really get in and do their job. If you don't do any damage, like for example Tara, then you're not really causing a disruption or a distraction. If you can't tank enough damage, then you're not going to be able to sustain long enough to allow your people to do their thing. So the balance is actually extremely important for the effective use of an off tank to do their job. The last and final pro is that he has a very disruptive kit. I mean, he has knockups, he has knockbacks, he can get up in your face slow, do tons of damage. As far as any hero goes, especially warriors though, Skud offers a very disruptive kit that can be a big time difference maker. Alright guys, now we're going to move on to the cons of Skud. These are things you're going to want to avoid if you're playing as him, or things you're going to want to take advantage of and exploit if you're playing against him. Skud's first con is that he's very susceptible to crowd control. He doesn't have an ability that allows him to get out of crowd control, and like many warriors, if he engages into a fight, initiates a fight without any backup or really good response from his team, he could easily get crowd controlled and bursted down. Skud's second con is that his ult can be a bad thing for your team. If the ult isn't timed just right and used correctly, it can either be used to A, knock enemy heroes to safety, or B, potentially knock too many people towards your team, causing them to be at a disadvantaged position and help the enemy's assassins and main damage dealers get to your enemy backline. The last con is not necessarily a really hard con, but it is something to take into consideration. Skud has a very simple kit, as opposed to somebody like Wonder Woman, and very much like somebody like Arthur. The kit is simple and can only be really used in one or two different ways. There's not a ton of room for creativity in the way that you use Skud, and that really limits the depth of Skud and the ways in which it can be used. Alright guys, that's it for this one. I hope you guys enjoy the content. If you did, make sure you guys give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and check out our other how to play videos, as well as our top 5 series and our Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday night live streams. Thanks for watching guys, and as always, till next time.